This is Tuesday, November 14th. It was worth a try. Come on, nailed it.
I can't. People have a horrible sense of humor.
I put up with me all day. You only put up with me for an hour. We're getting into Annabel Lee, a poem we're going to take a look at. And for those of you who are at home, you've missed all kinds of fun because chaos. I've had to rearrange the schedule this week because I'll be gone tomorrow, which is Wednesday, because of doctor's appointments, because apparently death and preventing it or something. So Poetry Homework 2, which was due today, is now put off till Friday. If you already had it done, that's fine. You're not going to lose it because it's in your notebook. It's physically impossible unless you get rid of your notebook and hashtag other issues. The idioms homework is now due Thursday as opposed to Wednesday. So I'm going to bump that back a day to make things a little bit easier on you. And the book report workday will be tomorrow. So bring your book report. You can get posters and stuff like that, or you can get posters today. Don't forget the canned food drive because my 5th period's already dominating. It's probably easier just to go ahead and give up and embrace the B points because at least that way you're getting something for the cans, and then that way it makes things easier. And just fall into it. Just like, and just get into it from there.
That's scary.
What's up, Rush?
So again, from what I remember, so if I give cans to another teacher, I still get B points.
No.
You
You get house points.
Then why does it
Because you get house points. Right, that's why we keep saying the word house points.
Does it
Bianca.
have to pay for
I've read that
it?
poem before.
Me too, we're going to read today, called Annabel Lee. This is one by Edgar Allan Poe, for those of you who might have...
Yay!
One,
No.
you should not have that reaction.
That's
Two, if you have experienced Edgar Allan Poe in the past, then yay, you have some knowledge
We read a
of him.
story about him together.
Good job.
Wow.
With the Telltale Heart and stuff like that. This is as close to a love poem as I'm able to do. But, as we're going to find out, this is a love poem. There is most definitely love in it. Not only is there love in it, we're going to find out that the characters in this poem have more love than you'll ever be able to contain in your puny little mortal body. But that's where the poem gets into. And so we're going to go through, read it, and then break it down and figure out what's happening to it and fun stuff like that. Because we'll hopefully be able to finish it. Because my goal is, the very end of it's the best part where we get to sort of explain what happened throughout the poem and learning and bonding. But first off, we have to figure out how many stanzas we have in our poem so we can read it. And throughout the big poem, how many stanzas do we have?
1, 2, 6.
Nice one, a total of 6. Here's where I'm going to have you guys read it once, and then I'm going to read it once. And so we'll have those of you who just like to move your mouth, we're going to give you a chance to move your mouth while reading one of the stanzas. And then I'll read it, and we'll figure out what's going on from there. What? Strawn, you want to read? Strawn will give you 1. Twitch will give you stanza number 2. Oh, now you're all brave. We're so proud of you. Jessup will give you 3, and then Urge 4. Like, ooh, that gives me another. Fitz 5, and then Brody 6. That gives me 3 girls and 3 dudes. And I know my poem, it was a longer poem. That's for your quiz. I'll give you a long poem. You can read all the stanzas all to yourself. I know. That was a trick. Now they're going to read it in their best I love weird poems about love kind of voice. As they're reading it, figure out who's in our poem, where's the poem taking place, and what in the holy bejeebers is actually happening. And then we'll go through and talk about it from there. Alright, stanza 1, begin.
It was many and many a year ago, in the kingdom by the sea. The maiden there lived, whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me.
I was a child and she was a child, in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love, and I and Annabel Lee. With a love that
The winged seraphs.
The winged seraphs of heaven coveted, her and me.
And this was the reason that long ago in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling a beautiful Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea.
The angels, not half so happy in heaven, with envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee.
But her love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we. and neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee.
For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And the stars never rise but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so, all the night tide, I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea.
Sorry, I'm trying to find a paper copy of it to make it easier on me.
I don't know. He'll explain. I don't know.
That's sort of why I'm here to help guide you guys. I understand it's a little on the confusing side, but we'll get you there.
It's not confusing. It's dark.
I'm going to read it through because I tend to do a wee bit of emotion and theatrics as we get into it to help sell it, because sometimes you guys reading it the first time through, it's your first time experiencing the stanzas and you don't know where to hit the highs and the lows. We'll see if this maybe helps you understand it a little bit more.
I've read it before.
Annabel Lee. It was many and many a year ago in this kingdom by the sea that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love. I am my Annabel Lee. With a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out the cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes! That was the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we, and neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee, and the stars never rise but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so all the night time I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in the sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea.
That was scary.
Wow. Why did that happen?
I like this story.
Let's break her down and find out. And yes, there's actually not just the fact that poetry, yay. But for the reason why I read the stanzas the way I did, as we get into it, we'll figure out that there's a reason for all of the bits of those. To start off with, that first stanza, baby steps, where is our poem taking place?
A
Kingdom by the sea.
There you go. In a kingdom by the sea. It is pretty vague as far as like where it's taking place. We just know it's taking place in some big city-ish kingdom kind of thing. Does it mean like a city or a kingdom? Yes, I have no idea either. But some kind of kingdom-y place by the sea. And we have two characters in our poem. And who are our two characters? Annabel Lee and then the speaker. Because what point of view is our story being told in? First person. And does the first person, does the speaker ever give his name?
Nope.
No. And it's not Edgar Allan Poe, as much as it'd be easy to sort of assume. It's just random persons. We're going to call them Dude. And so we have Dude and we have Annabel Lee as our two main characters in the poem. And we find out how Dude and Annabel Lee feel about each other. How they feel about each other?
They love each other.
They love each other. Super dupery love. They look at each other. She wakes up in the morning. She's like, it's morning time. I love Dude. And Dude wakes up and he's like, oh, I love Annabel Lee. And all they can do is think about is the fact they have great love for each other, because this is a beautiful love poem. And it's supposed to make you think of something else at the very beginning. It has what's called an allusion, not an illusion. You're like, woo, look, woo, disappear. And that's an illusion. An allusion with an A is a reference to literary works that you've seen before. That first line is an allusion. It's a reference to a type of story you've seen before. when it says, it was many and many a year ago in the kingdom by the sea.
Oh, fairy tale.
Star Wars.
Because how do fairy tales begin?
Star Wars.
There you go. Long time ago, once upon a time, there was a princess, and she loved it. And so it's supposed to be this reference to the beginning of fairy tales, because fairy tales are happy stories about princesses and princes, and everything ends happily in the end, and stuff like that. So it's supposed to make you think along
Unless
those
it's a
lines.
grim fairy tale. Those are dark.
That's true. But this is not a grim fairy tale. This is a grim fairy tale.
Dude, those rejected it.
This is the part where you're not yelling at me. I just love learning. I know, bring it down a little bit. Stanza 2, we find out a bit more about our two main characters and how they feel about each other. I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love. I am my Annabel Lee, with a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted, her and me. That first line is not trying to be creepy. When it says, I was a child and she was a child, we're not referring to like wee little children running around, because once again, creepy. So we're not going that far. It's the idea that we're trying to make this a beautiful love story. And being written as an old person, when you say I was a child and she was a child, doing that whole pretendificating thing, we're aiming for where most beautiful love stories have the main characters. I'm guessing late teenagery time, early 20s. I think that's like perfect love story, because you don't want to go too old. I with my walker and she with her cane. You're like, ugh, old people. Ah. And so you don't want to go that far. And you want to have like me as a toddler and her as a baby. Like, ah, that's lucky too. So you have to go like the three little bears of love. And so you have to have like not too old, not too young, right in the middle. And so that's right where they are. It's like that perfect age of lovey bits. That next little bit where it says, but we loved with a love that was more than love. You're going to have to use your imagination here. That there is a love ladder that you travel up as you age throughout life. And you sort of move up it with how much love you have. You start off on like the basic rung of the ladder. People you just run into, you're like, oh, I don't hate you, so that's kind of like love. And that's like the bottom one. And then you go up from there, and like the next step up are going to be like your brothers and sisters, because those are the people that your parents tell you have to love. Like, you have to love them or I'm going to beat you. And you're like, okay, fine. And then above brothers and sisters are going to be your friends, because the friends are like brothers and sisters you get to choose. You're like, you're the sister that I choose to have. And so you're going to have that one's a little bit stronger love. Above them are going to be your parents, because they brought you into this world, and without their existence, you don't happen to be here at all. And it's like, I guess I have to love you as a contract. And so you have that love above them. Hopefully, you're going to get to the point where you have a higher love than that, where you find that special someone you get to give winky, winky eye to, and you're like, winky, winky. And so that love becomes that special person you spend forever and ever, or 4 years with, however it works out. And so that becomes the next higher level up. There, for most of you, this is as high up as you get a chance to go. Their love goes even higher. They get to that top rung, pull out another ladder and go whomp, and they go, and they keep going up even higher. Their love is a love that's more than your love. So your love, they spit on it, because it's just nowhere near compared. Their love is so strong. When they look at each other, little heart bubbles actually form above their heads. And they go, love, and it sort of floats around above them.
Like Tom and Jerry.
Sort of like weird. Yes. And so little love bubbles keep forming above them. It's so much so that these little love bubbles keep flowing way up into the sky. And it gets the attention of these things, winged seraphs. And they're not sheriffs. That's a whole different word. Winged seraphs are a different thing. Do you know what a whoa, Judy?
Angels.
They're angels. And so the way it was believed was that there are different ranks of angels when you get that heavenly place. And the seraphs were thought to be the highest ranking of angels that existed. It was thought they were created out of pure love. If you were to take love and squeeze it, seraph would pop out of it. Like that, it was just like concentrated love. And they just flap around the whole time just going, love, 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 love. And that's all they do is like, as they flap, like little love flakes fell off of them. That's how much love they were. Well, what happens in the stanza is as they're flapping around, love, 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 doing their little lovey flappy things, these love bubbles start popping in front of them. Love, 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 love. We're loving you. And And so these angels begin to feel an emotion that they've never felt before. They begin to covet this love. That's a fancy word. I agree. To covet something,
Hate.
twitch,
They're like jealous of it.
it means jealous.
You're jelly.
And so the idea is you have these beings that are made of pure love. Sweet angel pops out of it, so they're nothing but love, but as they're flapping around, these love bubbles that pop in front of them are more love than even these angels have. There's more love than you. Your love is ridiculous. You're ashamed. And so these angels like, I thought I was love, but that's more love than even I have. And so the angels begin to get angry because they've never experienced jealousy before, because they didn't know it was possible for someone to have more love than them. Mr. Broviak, angels aren't evil. Just wait for this roller coaster, because we're just now buying tickets to get on. So, the little love bubbles popping up there, but then something happens. Stanza 3.
They kill.
And this was the reason that long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. To help you out this one, they're out walking along, and as they're walking along, it says what comes along as they're walking?
Wind.
This cold wind, it starts blowing on them and giving them a tough time and stuff like that. And so because of that, she ends up getting sick from this cold wind, and it ends up causing some issues as we get into it. Because her kinsmen come and take her away from Dude, which he's not happy about. But kinsmen, you all have kinsmen. Whether you like it or not, you're going to have kinsmen. I don't think anyone here has kinsmen at our school, but sometimes we do. Yeah? No, good guess. I mean, you might have a kinsman that's a doctor. That'd just be a coincidence. Judy?
Is it like royal family?
It is. Kinsman is just family. And so when all of you have kin, when you go home, you can fancy words your family like, what's for dinner, Kim? As what? My name's not Ken. You're like, no, that kind of Ken. I spell it differently. It's like saying, what's for dinner, fam, but fam is so last week. Kin is definitely coming back. And so your kin is just your family. Her kin are highborn kin. So we know about her family. That they're all Richie royalty people. And so these Richie royalty people come by, and they take her away from Dude and put her into a sepulcher. Mr. Broviak, that's a big word. I know. Go all the way back to our caterpillar poem, and we had another big word that's a synonym for sepulcher. Lorenzo?
The mausoleum.
And what's a mausoleum?
Pretty much a coffin of a grandma.
There you go. And above, and that plays an important role in this story also.
Died?
That they don't bury her underground.
Yes,
They're putting her into an above ground burial.
Angels.
So she dies. She never lets go of the ice cream because we were committed. And then they put her into this mausoleum, this sepulcher above ground. Mr. Broviak, how could she die from that? Well, and this is where I have to take a little bit of creative interpretation. So you're going to have to roll with me for a moment as my imagination kicks in. I'm already scared. Well, just wait. So I'm assuming that we have, once again, how old are Dude and Annabel Lee?
20.
Yeah, and so late teenagers, early 20s, and you might not know this, but sometimes teenagers don't make the best choices. And so especially even more so when they're in love, because teenager times love equals idiot. If you start with an idiot, I know, it's like multiplying by 0, it's okay. And so they're out walking along one day, and like this cold wind starts coming up off the ocean because they're enjoying this nightly breeze. And like, oh, it's so beautiful. But then Annabel Lee gets cold. She's like, Dude, it's getting kind of chilly out here. But Dude, being who Dude is, Dude, he's like, Annabel Lee, my love will keep you warm. She's like, oh, Dude. He's like, they keep walking along. She's like, no, it's getting really cold out here. He's like, I'll just love you even more. She's like, oh, Dude. And he puts his arm around her, and they're hugging as they're walking along. She's like, no, it's not good so good. He's like, I love you so much. She's like, okay. And I was like, no, I think this is a bad choice. And down she goes. And so that's sort of how I imagine things happen, where she gets sick from pneumonia and the cold wind, and then just thunkity down, and he's like, no. But it's okay, because it turns out there's more to it.
Why doesn't
The next stanza, it turns out, it was not an accident that this wind showed up. there was a conspiracy. This was not him just going out and walking and not wearing a coat. No, that there was someone responsible for it, and he knows who's responsible for it because he's been on the internet all night, and there's conspiracy theories that tell you all about this. The angel's not half so happy in heaven, but envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason it's all been known, this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. He has a theory that it was not a random wind that did his woman in. What did his woman in?
Their breath, it was like,
Whose breath?
the angels.
The angel. So he claims it was the angels that killed his woman. Now, they didn't just come down there and do it with their hands, because we know angels are sneaky. And so the angels, being the sneaky, evil creatures that, you just got to roll with them for now. Don't worry, he gets worse. He's like, the angels up there, they sniper her with their little wings. They're like, sniper! And they fire off the wind, and it comes down, and all of a sudden, sniper, and then gets her, and that's how the angels take care of her. She's like, ah! And falls down. It's like the ultimate 360 no-scope, but without even using a gun. That's how big they are. The part of the problem we have with this stanza is they're getting into it. He's going around telling everyone in town the angels killed his woman. They don't take that very well. But he's like, she's dead. The angels killed her. Like, what now? He's like, the angels! The angels came and they killed her. The angels are everywhere. You gotta watch out for the angels. They're like, who killed her? He's like, the angels. Like, they killed her. And so he's going around and trying to convince all the people in the town. He's like, yeah, everyone knows it. Have you been on the internet? The angels, they're all over the place. And so he's trying to convince people that the angels are going around killing off everybody that you love, because his love was so strong, the angels got jealous, and they were up there, and they, Mr. Brovia, yes, what? If the angels did that, wouldn't they kill off both of them? No, because you don't understand how crazy and mean angels are, because angels can't kill both of them, because that would not go to the evil angel plan. Because why would killing both of them not work to the plan? Harder?
Because then they could be together in heaven.
Correct. And the angels aren't going to fall for that. So the angels know if they go sniper, and they both go down, then they rise up and they get their normal human love multiplied by angel love, and they become like superhero angels and fight crime. And he's like, that's why they didn't do it. So the angel only killed one of us, and so they killed her. But Mr. Brovia, can he be like a and then like go down there and then be together? Well, usually according to the different beliefs that you go a different direction. And so the angels know that, because angels are tricky, and so the angels know they separated them, and now that they're not together, their love will slowly fade away and die, and the angels are just sitting up there going, as angels do.
As angels do.
Mr. Brovia, I think he has issues. Just wait, it gets better. And so he might be losing touch with reality.
Or his mind.
Just a little. That would be the connection to the reality. Yeah, he's bought a ticket to Crazy Town, but don't worry, the train is just now leaving the station. We've not even arrived yet. Next stanza, he understands people have issues with his theory. He knows it's not your fault. You're not on the internet as much as him. You don't see all the theories that are out there, but it's okay. He's going to try and help educate you. Because it turns out the angels weren't working alone. That's ridiculous. Everyone knows the angels couldn't do it by themselves. No, they had help. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who are older than we, of many far wiser than we, and neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee.
Why does he have a guitar?
Because he's rocking out. That's what dudes do. That first part,
Rocking out, that's right.
he realizes where it says, of those, our love was stronger than those who are older than us and those who are wiser. He realizes that he's walking around town and talking to people. They're like, whoa, dude, settle down a little bit. You're still pretty young. You're going to find somebody. This is like your first. He's like, no! He's like, listen, you and your old creepy people love, spit on it. My love, up there. You got to your ladder, I put another ladder, and I kept going. He's like, my love is that much stronger than old person love, smart person love. You don't understand how strong our love was. It was so strong, the angels didn't work alone. Who did the angels bring in to help them?
The
The demons from under the sea. And when you get to a point in your life that you believe angels and demons are in cahoots to try and get you, we might have some problems. But that's where he's getting to, where he's convinced both angels and demons are working as a team to go against him. He's like, you know what? Okay, fine. I'll move on. That's fine. Put it behind me. I'm a strong person, and I'll move on from Annabel Lee.
Question mark.
But he realizes it's not that easy, because they can never dissever my soul from the soul. You guys know what dissever, for those of you who are sciencey people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hear the
Elizabeth?
word sever.
It means like he can't take himself away.
There you go. To sever means to separate, so dissever means you cannot separate. So it says, even though she's dead, even though I try to move on, our souls will always be connected. That's what happens when you have this much love. Our love is so strong, even death can't separate us. So the moon, for the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And the stars never rise, I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so all the night tide I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in the sepulchre there by the sea, in the tomb by the sounding sea. He tries to move on, but every time he goes down and the moon comes out and he lays down to dream, there's only one thing he keeps thinking about, and that is? So he does try to do his best, but every night all he does is dream about her. And he's like, all right, I can't move out. So he goes out for a walk. He's like, I can do this. So he wakes up, goes out, starts walking along, looks up into the sky, sees all the stars, and the stars make him think of? He's like, you know what? I give up. I can't stop thinking about her. She was that perfect, that beautiful, that obviously we should not move on, and we are meant to be together. So to prove to the angels that just because she's dead doesn't mean you win. In fact, he's going to win. So he gets revenge on the angels. Zoe?
Doesn't he marry her?
He's already married to her in his mind. When he says, my wife and my bride, that's his way of saying that he loved her that much that he's already married to her.
Oh, not
That's okay. No, you don't worry. You thought you were going creepy enough. You didn't go creepy enough yet. Twitch?
Did he throw her into the sea?
No, that's where her tomb is. Her tomb is near the sea, because in the kingdom.
Oh, I was like,
Suskovich?
did he kill himself?
He can't, because that sends him to the wrong place.
Oh.
I know. Once again, you're not going creepy enough. You don't realize how crazy he is or how low your love is in comparison. Gavin?
Does he go and get her out?
Close. He doesn't go and get her out. She doesn't need to leave there.
Oh my gosh, he stays in.
He goes in every night to be with her and sleeps next to her body. To prove to the angel that just because she's dead, you can't win. And this is how he gets revenge on the... Mr. Brody, that's incredibly disgusting. No, that's because your love only goes to here. You can't fathom this level of love. When you get to this level of love, it's perfectly normal and natural. And yeah, still kind of creepy. And so that's, I told you, beautiful love poem that you just can't wrap your head around this level of love. Ava?
Even when the body's rotting, he's still like...
You're letting your mortal love slow you down, Ava. You have to realize stronger love is up there. There's a second way to read the end of the poem. And the second way to read the end of the poem is that, no, he doesn't go in there because that's crazy. And no one is that crazy. And the other way to read it is that every night he lays down to dream, he dreams that he's dead and with her. And he dreams that he's in the coffin, but then he wakes up every day and has to face the day. Oh, well, then which one is it? And Poe went, yes, you're correct. Not, what? He leaves it up to you to decide how crazy do you think he becomes over the course of the poem.
Crazy.
Does he become go into tomb and sleep next to her crazy, or just wish I was dead crazy? And that's sort of your choice. By the way,
Crazy.
rhyme scheme wise, there is a sound that is repeated throughout the entire poem for the rhyme scheme. Nicely done. There is a twofold reason why he did that rhyme scheme the way he did. One, what does it rhyme with? So what is it you can't forget? You can't. So throughout the whole poem, it's the idea of not being able to forget Annabel Lee. Every little bit you're like, blah, 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 Annabel Lee, blah, 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 Annabel Lee, blah, blah, Annabel Lee, Annabel Lee, Annabel Lee. You're like, I can't get. Plus, as you go through there, that E sound becomes this repeating and it's supposed to be that sound of him slowly losing his mind
Like a second grader
over the
playing
course of the
with
poem.
like a toy car.
So, now that you understand and grasp the poem, hopefully you understand a bit more about why I read the sections I did with him losing the grasp and the idea of what the poem is trying to get across and all the joy that goes into it and stuff like that. This was one of our 2 last poems. I tried to give you a love poem. I mean, there's definitely love in there. And plus story. And then we have a poem coming up on Thursday, which goes a whole different direction. And so we'll get to that one. There's no love. Well, okay, maybe not a completely different direction, but there's definitely no love in it. Maybe. No, there's kind of love, but a different kind of love.
It's like death.
You mean like going in different directions?
Ooh, we can leave it in so many ways. Let's just wait till Thursday to find out. Rush!